Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Barbara Bwaje, and I create content about studying abroad. I share with you application tips, how to win the scholarship. And in today's episode, I'm going to start a series that is termed Winning the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship the Right Way. And to ensure this video is helpful to everybody, I have with me Nicholas Apia Jr., who is currently an Erasmus Mundus scholar for the year 2022. I will allow him to introduce himself, and to ensure that this video is not overwhelming to you, we decided to do it in series where in each episode or in each session we take pieces and bits, but the end goal is to take you through the entire process. And finally, at the end of this session, we are going to apply live. So if you really want to win the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, I advise you like this video and you subscribe and hit the bell button so that whenever there's a new video, you are going to get notified. And the videos will be out every Saturday, starting from the second Saturday of October till we finally apply. As I always advise you, follow along and gather all the documents so that when we finally apply, it will be a live application where you get to apply with us. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section. So without wasting much time, Nicholas, could you please introduce yourself and share with us all we need to do to win the Erasmus Scholarship?
All right. Thank you very much, Barbara, for having me on your show. Like she already said, my name is Nicholas Apia Jr. from Ghana. Well, I attended Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, K University, had a bachelor's degree in geomatic engineering. And after school, I was working as a teaching and research assistant in the same field. Then I applied for Erasmus Mundus Masters of Science in Geospatial Technology, and then here I am currently in Spain, starting my first semester in Spain. Hopefully, the next semester, which is next year, I'll be in Germany, and then I'll end my program in Germany in 2 years.
Okay, awesome. Like before we start this presentation, I want to ask a few questions. Was the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship you applied for, and how did you hear of it?
Well, honestly speaking, I never knew of Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. Well, like everyone else, I was more like focused on North America, Europe, and then I had heard of the Chinese government scholarship (CSS). So I was more like focused on that one. So it was the latter part that someone mentioned, a friend, like a colleague of mine, mentioned of Erasmus Mundus, and then and he was telling me about the benefits. I mean the pros of Erasmus Mundus, where you get to travel within Europe, all the EU member states, and everything like that. So I think 2 months before the deadline for Erasmus, I just logged into Erasmus Mundus portal, then went through trying to, get a whole idea about Erasmus. Select my preferred courses, read about European culture. And then I was so fascinated about the stuff that I got from online. Then I decided to give it a try because I had already applied for other schools in other continents, other countries. I had no funding, some partial funding. So I was like, well, let me give it a try. And then here I am, won a fully funded scholarship to study in Europe. Erasmus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's quite interesting because that means like we have to do more education about it because like Europe has really good funding as compared to North America because the scholarships in Europe, once you get it, it's for you. You are not going to work for it, but mostly North America, they are more like assistantship, so you're actually working. So it's interesting that you didn't know about the scholarship, but you did get any rejections. So all the schools you applied for, you got any just that you didn't get funding or it was just partial funding. Was there any school you applied for that you didn't get admitted into?
Okay. All the schools I applied in North America and Europe, I got admission, but without funding. And in Canada, I applied to Saskatchewan. I got admission without
Okay,
funding. And I also applied to York University, admission no
okay,
funding, and also two schools in the US, Michigan and Maryland,
okay,
no funding. And then the UK, I applied to Cranfield and also University of
okay,
Bristol. Cranford, I got partial funding. Bristol, I had unconditional admission, and I was to
okay,
make the initial deposit of about £2,000. but I didn't get the money, so I just dropped it and then I focused on Erasmus.
Okay, awesome. So thanks for. So my final question before we go into the presentation.
All right.
What did you graduate with?
Oh, first class honors.
Pressure. Okay. So yeah, thanks for the brief introduction. So
Oh,
I'll leave you to start with the presentation, and I'll hold my question like when you are done with the presentation, and if I have any questions, we could discuss. So tell us, how can we win the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship? Take us step by step.
all right. So I made some slides.
Okay, thank you.
So winning the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. So in this presentation, we're just going to talk about the general overview of the Erasmus. I mean, who can apply, the documents you need to apply with, and also some frequently asked questions. I mean, about Erasmus Mundus. Most people normally ask, is it difficult to get? Is it highly competitive? I mean, is the package good? Can you stay in Europe after the scholarship or after your degree? I mean, we are going to discuss everything in this presentation. And well, these are some of the universities in Europe, Germany, Portugal, Spain. Yeah. So what the scholarship is about. So Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters. Yeah, that's the course, that's the program, master's program. They are high-level integrated study programs at the master's level. So it normally involves at least 3 countries, of which 2 must be EU member states, and also the other one can be a program state. And as we move forward, I'll explain what a program state is, and then also we have another one called partner states. So I'll explain all those into details. Well, the main aim or the main objective of Erasmus Mundus Masters is to foster excellence and also bring students from different places all over the world together. Now, these masters, they have funding. I mean, they have full funding for these masters. That's the Erasmus Mundus Masters Scholarship. So basically, Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters Scholarship is an European government fully funded scholarship that's only available for master's program. And before that, they had funding for PhD, that's a doctoral studies, but now Erasmus don't offer any full funding for PhD unless we apply for any different scholarship program. So, like I said, it's a fully funded scholarship by the EU to cover all costs, program tuition fees, traveling costs, visa, your accommodation, living expenses, and any other costs you incur during your academic year. And also, the main aim of this Erasmus Mundus Master Scholarship is to encourage mobility of students and moving from their home countries to the destination countries, and also moving across Europe. Earlier, when I said Erasmus Mundus Scholarship or Erasmus Mundus Master's Program, their master's degree organized by more than 3 or at least 3 EU member states and also other program countries. So it means that within your academic journey, you will spend some time in one European country, and during that same period, you also be in any other European country, depending on the program that you're offering. So the duration is normally 12 to 24 months, depending on the course. And some are 18 months, 16 months, but it normally lasts between 12 months and also 24 months. That's roughly 2 academic years. Yeah, so partner and program country, I'll explain further in our subsequent presentations. Now, for each program, for each master's program, Erasmus usually award 13 to 20 scholarships. That means that if you're applying for Erasmus Mundus scholarship for a particular degree, you know that the available slots are 13 up to 20, depending on the program, but it can never go beyond 20. Well, maybe unless they update their system and also they update the management and the administrative rest, then they can add more slots to it. But as it stands now, most degrees awards 13 to 20 scholarships. At the end of your degree, you are awarded a joint degree or a double degree. Now, because Erasmus is a collaboration between several European countries and other program countries, with some courses at the end of your degree, you get a joint degree. So let's assume that your course was organized by 3 different European countries. At the end of your final semester, at the end of your academic degree, you get one certificate or one diploma from the 3 universities. So it's a joint degree, just one single certificate. Well, double degree, if it's 3 countries or more, you get maybe 2 certificates or different certificates from each of the countries involved in that particular program. So that's what I mean by joint degree or double degree awarded. And well, the good thing about Erasmus is an Erasmus Mundus Scholarship or Erasmus Mundus, the joint degree, is a program fully funded by the European government and also organized or managed by the European government. So after school or after your degree or after your master's degree, getting a job and settling in Europe is quite easy. Let me put it that way. It's not that difficult. Unlike some programs where after you are done, or some scholarship programs after your degree, you need to go back to your home country. I mean, all those kind of stuff. But Erasmus, once is a European degree, and after your master's degree or after your program, you can easily settle in Europe and then look for a job. Yeah, and then the degree is highly admired by industries in Europe and also the USA. And this is true because different European countries, so basically different cultures. So you are studying, if you are studying in Germany, Netherlands, Estonia, Belgium, you realize that at the end of your master's degree, at the end of your program, you acquire different skills. I mean, you learn different cultures from all these people. And then, man, there are a lot of people coming from different places all over the world. So you get to learn more culture and you get to learn other people's culture. And well, in the industries, these guys or these managers, they are looking for guys with good management skills, teamwork skills, and all those things. So if they realize that you are Erasmus Mundus master student or you graduated from Erasmus Mundus programs, one of their program, yeah, they realize that you have a high background in teamwork skills and also, I mean, your international relations skills is very good. So getting a job in these industries in Europe is very easy, and also in the US. Now, the scholarship package, like I said earlier on, it's a full scholarship. It's a fully funded scholarship to cover every cost that you incur during your program. So, covers the cost of students' participation in the program. So, your tuition fees and in registration fees, in some cases, well, for some master's program, and the money that they will give you, you use some of that money to pay for your registration fees. But most of the programs, your tuition fee and your registration fee will be catered for. Registration fee, they are more like your courses. So the courses you'll be doing for a particular semester. If you're doing 7 courses or 6 courses, I mean, you register for those courses. Those courses, the money or the scholarship will cover for those registration fees and also your tuition fee. And then you have a monthly allowance or monthly stipend or living stipends of about 500 euros to 1,500 euros. But well, I don't know, most of the programs normally give about 800 euros. So for your monthly allowance, you can get as high as 1,500 euros or 800 euros. And then your travel costs will also be catered for, mobility and your visa fees. Now, for the old programs, you see, with Erasmus, every year they update the program, the courses that they will roll out. They update the courses every year. So they add new courses and they remove some old courses. I mean, they give funding to most courses, and also they will take out some courses and it cease to fund those programs. So for the old programs, like program like geoinformation and Earth observation and also Copernicus, the old Erasmus programs, when you are a scholarship holder or when you are awarded the full scholarship, your visa fees are catered for, your travel expenses. So from your home country to your first country, the country that you start your academic journey, the travel expenses or any travel costs that you bear when you come to Europe or when you come to your first country, if you're able to show proof of payment for all those costs and also all those fees, Erasmus will pay you back. And for some programs too, for some Erasmus programs, some of the scholarship, and they'll give you a block money. So let's say 2,000 or 3,000 euros, like just estimated value. They'll pay into a block account and then you use that money for your travel expenses, so visa fees, airline tickets, and everything. And also mobility. When you're moving from one country, that's when you end your first semester and then move into another country for your second semester. I mean, they will cater for that mobility. So that visa from your country, say you are moving from Spain to Germany, all the travels and the travel costs or any expenses surrounding those mobility, Erasmus will cater for it. And also health insurance. If you're moving from one country, your country to Europe, I mean, you need the health insurance so that in case of any emergency, you'll be fully covered. Erasmus Mundus Scholarship also cater for health insurance. So the health insurance is like a block amount of 100,000, but that money will not be paid to you. I mean, it's just an insurance package. So that in terms of any emergency, you just send that to the hospital. And also accommodation. Well, for accommodation, you pay from your monthly allowance. So the money that will be given to you. So assuming you are getting 1,000 or 1,500 euros, you paid the accommodation or your rent or your housing from that monthly allowance. And administrative assistance. Well, in Europe, mostly well, let me speak from my school. I mean, when we had our first orientation, the coordinators told us that and most European schools or most European universities, and they don't normally assist with administrative work. I mean, you need to go to online, read about how to get things done, and then you do it on your own. But Erasmus master's programs are the only programs which allows administrators, the school administrators, to assist students because they'll be moving from different countries all over the world to Europe. They offer those administrative assistance, especially with the visa. I mean, I remember when we were processing some of our visas, most European countries are not English speaking countries. So when you go to the embassies in your home country, you'll be asked to, I mean, do some translations of your travel documents into their language. I mean, it was very hectic. So Erasmus coordinators, they normally offer these assistance. Sometimes they will write to the embassy that, oh, these people are Erasmus students. So I mean, the program is English taught. Yeah, one thing I forgot. The program is English taught, so you don't need to have a background of or any knowledge of their language. If it's German, you don't need to acquire any German language skills before you can move to German. So all these administrative stuff, how to create a bank account, because of course the monthly allowance will be paid into your bank account. So I mean, they will assist you in getting all these things done, health insurance, looking for accommodation. Accommodation, well, some programs was after you get to the home country, then maybe they will help you with accommodation. But for other programs, yeah, they will send you a database of all accommodation in that particular community, the community that university is from. And then you will go through the accommodation with the prices over there. You select the accommodation that you want, and then maybe they can talk with the owners on your behalf after you settle in or after you are given your first monthly rate, and then you pay your monthly accommodation. So basically, the scholarship package is full tuition fees, registration fees for your program, your courses, monthly allowance of about 500 to 1,500. Like I said, well, I don't know of any program that gives 500 euros. It's normally 1,000 to 1,500 euros. Yeah, and then travel costs, your mobility and visa fee, health insurance, accommodation, and also administrative assistance. And the field of study. So there are about 150 programs offered across all partner countries. So any country that is in association or is working with Erasmus, um, any university, so from Germany to all the European EU member states, there are about over 150 programs. These programs are distinguished by the academic excellence and by their high level of integration. Now, the program ranges from chemical sciences. So, if you are someone who have any chemical engineering or chemistry background, I mean, you can apply to Erasmus. Economic sciences, so business administration, business management, all these financial programs. If you are someone who have financial or business administration background, I mean, Erasmus is good for you. The environmental and geosciences. So from natural resource management, geotech guys, geology, geography, I mean, geomatics, all those courses you fall under this umbrella. And IT and engineering, so computational science, engineering, civil, technology, mechanical, I mean, every course, physical and natural sciences, yeah, social science and also humanities. I mean, there are more informations, there are more information about the courses on the Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters catalog website. So I shared a link in the website. I shared the link in the presentation, so you can just click on the link and it will send you to their website where you can see all the programs offered. Then you can actually select the program of your choice and also read more information about it. The eligibility. This is the general selection criteria, or let me say, or the general for someone to be eligible for Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. This is the general rules that you must comply to. Also, let me say it that way. But then there are other eligibility criteria which is only specific to the course or the program you want to offer. But then generally, you must have a bachelor's degree, because it's a master's program, so your qualification, you must have a bachelor's degree, your first degree. And also, if you're at your master's level, you can apply. So some people have maybe one master's or two masters. It doesn't matter, you can still apply. If you already have a master's degree, you can also apply. And then you must be proficient in English, because Erasmus Mundus joint master's programs are taught in English. They are English taught. So you must have some level of proficiency in English. You don't need to be like level 5 or level 7 and in English, but at least you must be able to read, write, listen, and also speak. And then sometimes if you're not from an English speaking country, you need to prove that you are proficient in English. So I think in Europe, the acceptable English exams is the IELTS. Yeah, well, maybe some programs might accept TOEFL, but in Europe, I mean, IELTS is the standard. And then if you want to, well, if you're applying for Erasmus Mundus scholarship, you make sure that you're not benefiting from any other European scholarships. So there are several European scholarships, the Marie Curie scholarship, or maybe European government specific. So let's say German national scholarship like that, or those scholarships. You shouldn't be benefiting from any European scholarship because they will rule you out. And then there's no age limit for Erasmus Mundus. So 30 years, 20 years, 25, 50. I mean, you can still apply for Erasmus Mundus. And the documents required. So these documents are general for all the programs that Erasmus Mundus offers. I mean, all those programs require these documents. But then there are others which are specific, or they are course specific. So depending on the course, they will ask you to maybe submit this document or provide this document. But in like the general rule, you must have a bachelor's degree. Now here I said legalize. Now, yeah, because some countries you need to legalize your document, like some form of attestation to your bachelor's document. But then some countries will just overlook it and then you just provide your bachelor's degree or a diploma and your transcript too. So for Spain, so if you're interested in coming to Spain or maybe pursuing any program in Spain, you must make sure that your documents are legalized, especially your academic documents. And the legalization process, you just make sure that the bureaucracy established for education, which in this case is the Ministry of Education for Ghana, and they attest your certificates. So it's just a letter endorsing that the signature, yeah, those people whose signatures are found on your document, they are in the right capacity to award such degree. So you get an attestation from your education department, and then since you are using it to apply for schools outside, you are traveling out of the country, you need some form of authorization from your agency responsible for travel, which is your Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So that's for the academic document. But some countries don't usually require, especially Portugal. If you're going to a university in Portugal, they won't require you to legalize your document. But for Spain, you have to legalize your document. So if you're applying for any program where, I mean, in your semesters, you need to go to Spain, you should start preparing your documents. I mean, legalizing your document. Legalization usually takes a lot of time. I mean, moving from education ministry in Ghana, moving from education ministry and going to your foreign affairs and then going back to the Spanish embassy, I mean, it can take a month. So yeah, so if you're planning on moving to Spain, I mean, you should start getting academic documents legalized. And also Europa CV. Now you realize that most of the schools outside Europe, you can just submit any academic CV. Europe, they have this kind of, they have their own format. Europa CV, creating an Europa CV is not any difficult, it's just a template. So if you have your CV, you can just copy those contents into their template. You can always create an account in Europass, you log on to their website, create a profile there, and then they have different styles, different templates, but it's the same thing. So you select the one you prefer, and then you load your content into it. So like your CV, the content in your academic CV, you load those contents and then they'll publish it for you. You can just download it onto your local computer and then use it for your application. And then, like I said, proof of English. Yeah, if you are in Africa and then you are coming from English speaking country like Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, I think Sierra Leone, you'll be exempted from this proof of English proficiency. But then if you're coming from a francophone country, you need to prove that you have some level of English proficiency. Like I said, IELTS is the standard for Europe, but then some courses they will accept TOEFL. And then your SOPs, I mean, like all graduate school application, motivation letter or letter of purpose or a statement of purpose, I mean, they will require it. With Erasmus, some of them, you don't need to submit a separate document. In the or on the application portal, they have boxes over there. So like they will ask you a question. Sometimes they won't say maybe submit a motivation statement or a letter of purpose. They can ask you, I mean, what's your long-term career goal? So more or less like the questions you answer when you are writing your statement of purpose essay. Those questions, maybe 3 boxes, 200 words each, or let's say 100 words each, or maybe 500 characters. And then you just fill it. So it depends on the program you are submitting. I mean, for me, Masters of Geospatial Technology, I wasn't asked to provide any separate letter of purpose. I mean, on the application portal, there were spaces for me to type my essay there and then submit it. And also for professional experience, well, I hope right now all of you, some of you know that for some scholarships, you need to prove that you have professional experience for some years. I mean, 2 years or 3 years. I mean, for that scholarship, you need to prove that you have 2 years working experience and 72. I mean, some hours, about 3,000 hours or so. Well, Erasmus, it would depend on the type of program that you are applying to, but the professional experience shouldn't necessarily be maybe working after school, as in any experience gained after your bachelor's degree. I mean, it can be internships or any voluntary work that you've done. But then some of these things, they are subject to the kind of program you are applying. But then most of the programs, I mean, if you have internships, they can apply. I completed school, I think right after completion, and then I applied for my Erasmus. So, I mean, someone would say my professional experience after school wasn't even up to 2 years. But then I had done some internship, about 18 months of internship. So I added it in my application. Yeah. And then social and more.
Can I just ask something
Yeah,
before you
sure.
continue? Was
Sure.
your national service, did you include your national service as part of your professional experience, or the professional experience should be linked to the program you are studying?
Oh, yeah. So if you're in Africa, like Ghana, and you're doing a national service, you can include that one. But don't type it as national service. I mean, the title, the job title. Yeah. So okay. I was a teaching and research assistant back in my university. So I just started working as a teaching and research assistant full time, and then I explained the things I was doing, the roles and responsibilities I was playing in that organization. Yeah. But most of the scholarship, we don't have a specific maybe timeline that you should have 2 years or 3 years working in CBA. You just need to show them that you have some sort of experience. So it can be internship or national service, or maybe you completed school maybe 3 or 4 years ago. That would be a bonus for you. And also social and multicultural competence. This is very important, because like I said, Erasmus is there are programs offered between more than 2 European countries. So you need to be someone who you need to be someone who has this tolerance skill. I mean, be able to learn from other people's culture, be able to integrate, or involve yourself in different culture, adapt to people's beliefs or values, and something of that sort. So yes, for my program, Masters of Geospatial Technologies, they asked me about my social multicultural competence. I mean, so if you are someone, maybe you serve on any board or in your own capacity, you've done something that contributes to social or cultural development, you can indicate that in your application. It's very important because because you'll be moving between different countries, different European countries, and you see your different cultures. So Germany, Spain, Portugal, they have different culture. You should be able to adapt to all these things, let all these cultures, learn to tolerate with other people, and also there'll be other students coming from different countries all over the world. So if you're not the type who likes to socialize well with people, I mean, it will be a problem for you. And also recommendation
For
letters. Okay.
personally, how did you show your social and multicultural competences? How did you show that? Or what did you
Well,
say with regards
yeah.
to that?
Okay, so for me, back in school, in my university, I was a member of the academic board in my
Okay.
department, and also I was part of the vetting panel, and so we vet students for leadership roles. And you see, if you are a panel member on the vetting committee, you don't need to be partial. You need to be fair and just. So
Okay.
yeah, in that case, you should tolerate anyone, so whether a woman or a girl, a man, or from any other background or any race, you should be able to tolerate them because you are vetting them to, bring out their capabilities and also their abilities. So that's what I said, that I was a member of a vetting panel. So I have this experience how to tolerate people, how to adjust to different social cultural bodies and all those stuff. And I think it helped me. So if you are
Okay.
okay.
Okay, I just wanted to also share another tip like you could use. Example, like you being a teaching and research assistant is also an example because then you get to interact with students
Yeah,
from
yeah,
a
yeah,
wide variety
yeah,
of people. And even as a student, like one of the things you could also say is that because Ghana is in between a lot of francophone countries, we have well, I don't know about your batch if you had people, but like when I was in school, we had people who were from other countries, like even a lot of Nigerians come to study in Ghana.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
There are
yeah.
also a lot of francophones who come to study in Ghana. So you could also talk about that maybe in your groups you were with people who were not only Ghanaians. So through that interactions in your group settings or in your teamwork, you were able to interact with them and
Yeah, yeah,
to learn from them. And also like volunteering experience is also very important. You could use that also as an example to
yeah,
show how well you can adapt with people. So these are just like a few examples I just wanted to chip in for people to know like it's a wide range of things you could talk about to explain all these things. So yeah, you could
yeah,
continue.
yeah. What Barbara said, they are all valid points. So you need to prove to them because, like I said, in as much as you are learning, you are going to Europe to study. Aside your academic life, you should also have a social cultural life, and then you should be able to adapt to all of these things and also how to cope with other people. Because right from school, you are going to the industry or being an academic or any job with the related industries. They are looking for people with these kind of skills, with this tolerance and these cultural content values. So yeah, it's very important that you demonstrate it to them in your application. Some of them will ask you to write an essay on it. I think with masters in geospatial technology, they were in points, so maybe list some few points, 4 or 5 points. But for some program, they might ask you to write a whole essay like you're writing your motivation statement. So like about 200 words, just explaining how you are competent in social and cultural activities. Yes. And then recommendation letters, very, very important because these people, well, they don't really know you. Let me put it that way. So it's how your supervisor, your immediate or past supervisors, how people close to you will recommend you, and how they will sell you. So sometimes we normally advise, when I was applying, I made sure that I went to the professor I was very closer to. Because you see, some of these professors, if you ask them to write recommendations letters for you, they can just put a general recommendation letter for you. You're competing with people from all different walks of life. So your application should be very strong. Because you try to get someone who knows you very well. So it can be your project supervisor, your final year physics supervisor, or maybe a lecturer in your department who you are very close with, and then he will get your recommendation letter for you. So normally, Erasmus, they ask for five recommendation letters. In my case, they ask for 5 recommendation letters. Five referees. Yeah. So you provide the names and contact details of 5 referees, but then you submit two. So maybe 5 lecturers, and then you ask you to submit the recommendation letters of 2 of those referees, They'll give you a timeline. If those lecturers or if those supervisors or professors don't submit in time, then they'll contact the other referees you
Okay.
provided. Yeah, but some programs just 2 or 3, and then you need to provide the recommendation letters from those supervisors you referenced in your application. But then for some, you have the liberty of choosing more than 3 supervisors, and then you provide the contact details of 2. So when they don't respond to the mail sent to them, and then they will contact the other referees in your application. And then other documents, they are, like I said, they are course specific. So for a program like Geoinformation and Earth Observation, you ask to develop a research proposal. For some programs, they'll ask you to develop a research proposal or provide any published article or any educational material that you have. So for this one, it's not a general document, like it's just specific. So depending on the course that you are applying, you need to share some materials with them. Well, yeah, so I think there's a general overview about Erasmus Mundus. So like I added some few frequently asked questions people normally asked about Erasmus. Yeah, people normally ask, is Erasmus Mundus master scholarship hard to get? Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's so difficult to get or easy to get. I mean, you just have to put in the work. It's highly competitive, just as any other scholarship. You just need to put in the work. I mean, submit the right documents. I mean, the do's and don'ts. Don't do the things that you are not supposed to do, and then you do what is expected of you. You definitely win the scholarship. Now, so, what are the selection criteria for Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Scholarship? Well, the first thing they'll consider your educational or your academic qualification. So are you a bachelor's degree holder? Well, if you hold a bachelor's degree, you qualify for that particular criteria. And then sometimes people ask that can they apply to any Erasmus Mundus master while they are still in school? Yeah, you can apply, but you make sure that you submit your final document, that's your final transcript and your final certificate before the deadline. So right now there's this program that they've opened, and Geoinformation Science, they've opened the portal. It will run between October and January. So if you are still in school and they know that you graduate by let's say November or December or early January, you can apply to the program. But you make sure that before the deadline you submit all documents. So Erasmus, you only be considered for Erasmus Mundus Master Scholarship when you submit complete application. So if you submitted a partial application, you just know that you will not be considered for any scholarship. So I think that answers the third question. I've not graduated. Can I still apply for Erasmus Mundus? Yeah. You make sure that before the deadline, you submit all documents required of you. And what does the reserve list mean? Well, you know that well, like I said, for me, I didn't apply to only Erasmus. I applied to several programs, yeah, and several scholarships. But then I finally settled on Erasmus. I mean, I realized that Erasmus, the benefits and everything, the package was very good, and also the things I would learn on the skills that I will acquire at the end of my master's degree. That's why I settled on Erasmus. Well, some people they'll be offered the scholarship, but maybe they will weigh their pros and cons with maybe other universities, and they will choose not to go to Erasmus. They will go to other university. So for such people, assuming Erasmus was awarded 20 scholars, and then maybe after during the whole selection procedures, you were 21st or 22nd or 25th on the application list. They'll wait for a while. I mean, try to get the consent of those people who are awarded scholarship, whether they would like to come to the school or accept their scholarship or accept their admission. If they fail to do so, I mean, they have a time limit. When their time elapses, then they'll move on to the next person on the reserve list. So if there are 20 people, they'll move on to the 21st people, to the 21st person, and then 22nd person. So sometimes you don't, when you are not selected, well, don't give up yet. Maybe someone might opt to drop out and then they'll add you. So yeah. And then, can I be a self-funded student in Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Degree? Well, yes. I mean, the whole program is Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degree. and then they have scholarship for those master's program. So if you feel like you have the means to support yourself during for 2 years, you can still apply to the program. But some people apply to the program, they don't apply for the scholarship. But normally the scholarships opens and the scholarship portal opens early. Well, after the deadline, then they open for self-funded students, and then they open for European students, students who don't need the visa, I mean, who are within the EU member state. So, well, if you have the means, you can always be a self-funded student. I mean, some people don't want this whole stress and the anxiety attached to it, so they will just go in for self-funded. So fun. And then you know that
And
Europe,
also,
in Europe, yeah,
no, just finish with what you wanted
okay,
to say.
yeah, and then you know that in Europe, tuition fee is quite affordable compared to in America and then also in the UK. So they have payment plan that will suit you. And then if a student has more than one nationality, how should he
Before you
proceed?
continue, can I comment on the self-funded? So even
Yeah,
you can decide to apply for the Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degree Scholarship, but if you don't get and you have a strong application, they can give you the offer to become a self-funded student. So that was what it is. You could try to apply for the scholarship, but if you don't make it, they can give you the offer to be a self-funded student. So that's what I wanted to chip in, so you could continue.
yeah, sure, yeah, sure. And also, if a student has more than one nationality, how should he proceed? Well, I stated earlier in the presentation about program students and also partner students. Yeah, I'll explain that into details, but then you can still proceed. If you have more than one nationality, you just need to specify in your application which nationality are you going with. So if you're Ghanaian Nigerian, or if you're, let's say, Ghanaian American, or from any two different countries, you just have to state in your application that you are using this nationality. So I'll go more into details in our subsequent presentations about program students and also partner students, and how many students of the same nationality can be selected. Well, I think this goes in hand with the previous question. Now in Erasmus, we have the program students and also the partner students. Program students are normally students within the EU member state and also other countries in Europe, but they're not part of EU member states. So like Turkey, Norway, Liechtenstein. I mean, those countries, they are in Europe, but then they are not part of the European Union. So if you're a student coming from these countries, you are considered as a program student. In any other country apart from Europe, will be considered as a partner student, partner country. So in Africa, Asia, Caribbean, America, Latin America, and also the Pacific Ocean and Australia, you are all partner students. The number of students selected from a particular region, a particular um, country would depend on the scholarship, the number of slots available. Yeah, so if they have 13 slots available, I mean, they will state on their website that okay, 3 slots, we'll give 3 slots to maybe America, 4 slots to maybe Africa, or maybe 5 slots to Asia, and so on. So we just have to read more about the scholarship. We go to the scholarship website and read the slots available, and also, I mean, the funding available for each student from each country, and then you will know what's best for you.
Okay.
So, guys, I think
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to comment on this one. And also, even apart from the regions, also there's the nationality, because in one of the programs I looked at, I think it's eco hydrology or something, for a particular country where they are not taking 3 people. So if it's in Ghana, not even the continent, but just a country, so they are not taking 3 people. So it's like the whole of Ghana. If like the whole every Ghanaian apply for that scholarship, they are just going to take 3 people. So that's also something that you should also have in mind when you are applying. So yeah, you could finalize it. It's actually gone longer than I thought it would, but yeah, continue.
yeah, so basically, this is the general overview of Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degree Scholarship. I mean, what the scholarship is about, the scholarship package, I mean, the fields of study, how to apply, and everything. In our subsequent videos, we'll talk more about it. But then for now, I think this is the general overview, a quick one about. It's not that quick. It's about 45 minutes. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you, Nicola. Like, it actually went longer than I thought, but like for every scholarship, as I said, the basic information is very important. So, in as much as it
yes,
was longer than I think it's also very important for everybody who wants to apply
yeah,
for the scholarship. Like for next year, I want a lot of Ghanaians to win the scholarship because
mm,
you get it pays everything. So you just have to just look at what it entails. But in the next videos, we are going to be more specific. We are going to go into further details on how to win the scholarship. So thank you for all those who have watched till the end. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section, share with your friends, and like, comment, subscribe. So we meet again in our next video. In our next video, we'll look at the document into details and how to select schools. Thank you, Nicholas, and see you in the next video. Bye.
yeah.